Matzke's Area Vice President for U.S. Defense for ServiceNow. It's great to see you, Mark. Thanks for joining me today. Secretary of Defense is talking a lot about using commercial solutions and looking to the commercial sector to learn how to solve some of the big problems in the Pentagon. Where do you advise folks in the department to look to fulfill that vision?
Yeah, I'd say first, and we're seeing a lot of this, a lot more now, but don't be shy to go and explore companies and technologies and be imaginative in asking, what they're doing, right? One of the most interesting questions I got just a few weeks ago was, hey, I know what you're doing right now, but I'm interested in where do you think you are going to be in 2 to 5 years, and what investments are you focused on? Because that shows a commitment and really planning for the future. And so that'd be probably the best advice. And don't be afraid to try new things. Like we get into like AI and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The 2 to 5 year window is striking to me for a number of reasons. It aligns with a lot of the strategy documents that exist about where the department views itself today and where it views itself as wanting to go in the future. It also aligns to budget realities a little bit too, because you're thinking about where are we going to be able to spend money in the next year to 2 years. Am I on the right track there?
Yeah, and it does actually align to the Palm cycle, right? So it aligns well, and it forces. So if we work backwards from there, it makes our defense customers and us as we plan backwards, like what do we need to do to set the conditions for success? And that's those are the hard muscle movements that happen in the short term, but they really set you up for success in the long term.
I know you're going to say AI at least to as an answer to this question, but the technologies that those leaders should be paying attention to are what, in your view, in that 2 to 5 year window?
Yeah, I think the focus is not on the particular technology, because like AI is changing so fast. I mean, you have iterative improvements that are measured in orders of magnitude and not in like percentage incremental growth. If you look at what people were using AI for, we can start the word counter. Just a year ago or 6 months ago, the way it's being used today is drastically different, and it's really aligning to usability and integrating into more than just providing advice, more than just providing kind of a personal psychiatrist to ask questions to, but actually providing you with actionable insight that you can take action on. So in the next 2 to 5 years, what is going to change and what leaders need to start to be aware of is there is going to be a leap where we move from gaining actionable insight from mining of the data, understanding the data and kind of making sense of it, but then actually taking action, and not just recommending an action, but automating that with, and there's another term you'll probably hear a lot of, agentic workflow, right? Mm-hmm. And so what that means is if anything that you do in an organization, if it's repeatable, it's predictable, it's something that we can kind of formula out, and you can start to actually execute based off what your system is telling you, which is much different than the way we're task organized today in the Department of War. It's really like human driven, but as these assistants start to work more, you're going to have to build that into your decision cycle. And our adversaries are doing that. We need to be doing that as well.
I scribbled down 4 things while you were talking about AI and the potential developments that strikes me maybe are more important for the department to look at than AI, everybody's using it. The things that I scribbled down were think, develop, build strategy, and implement strategy. Those are things that are going to change, I imagine, as the use of artificial intelligence proliferates and as the tools become more and more sophisticated the way that you just described them. Am I on the right track there?
Yeah. And that is the hard lift. And really the hard lift is on senior leaders today are probably not as, because you didn't grow up under the same kind of education structure in, you go to the war college, you do all those things, right? So the way that you run an organization with the intended outcome of being successful against any adversary around the globe, the way you implement strategy and the operational execution is changing, and we see that in different places around the world. We Senior leaders need to start exploring and making an environment where it's okay for people to start to test these things out. That's going to be very critical.